Hi there, welcome to Bloodhouse, the show where we talk about art house horror movies. I'm your host, Joshua Conkle.
And I'm your wicked co-hostess with the mostest, Drusilla Adeline. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back once again with a new slice of evil and delight for you this week, dear listeners. How are you doing, Josh? What are you up to?
I'm okay. I'm very sick, and I have been for a week.
I know,
So
yeah.
my nose sounds a little stuffy, but I'm fine actually. I'm on a lot of cold medicine. I've got a lot of coffee in my system. I'm on a really weird sleep schedule, so let's fucking do this.
This is gonna be the best episode we've ever recorded. I was gonna say you've got that really like hip like TikTok makeup kind of look right now. We've got a really red nose.
Yeah, like the e-girl red nose and cheeks. Yeah. Like I just came in from the snow. Mm-hmm. I've also been like on a really weird sleep schedule where Edie will wake me up at like 4:30 in the morning to go out, and then I won't go back to sleep, and I'll make a pot of coffee, drink it, and watch a movie, and then go back to sleep at 9 a.m. and sleep for an hour until 10. And this is what I've been doing for like 2 weeks. It's so weird. It makes me feel entirely crazy.
That sounds great, though.
Yeah.
I re-listened to a podcast that was recorded over lockdown recently with Edgar Wright, who's the greatest, and he was talking about how, because he's such like an active kind of person, and he's like always like running and gunning on film sets or like going out exorcisms and stuff like that, but he's also someone who watches movies all the fucking time, which is a surprise to no one, that when lockdown happened, he and his girlfriend were like locked away, and they're like either like London flat or Hollywood house or wherever he lives because he's rich. Right. And he was like, I get up super early, and she likes to sleep in. So he was like, I get up at like 6 a.m. I'll watch like 2 or 3 movies before she's even up, and then we'll like watch a movie together and start the day. And I'm like, that's incredible. I am jealous of people who have that kind of stamina. I would love that. Getting that in to start your day with sounds like a
sometimes
delight.
It's good to watch a movie early in the morning. I have like a weird, I don't know if this is like a Protestant conservatism streak through my bloodline or whatever. I cannot watch a movie or a television show if the sun is up. So I can watch a movie at 4 a.m. when it's dark out, and I can watch a movie, post 6 o'clock. But if I'm sat in front of a television in broad daylight, I feel like I'm lazy. I feel like I'm doing something bad. But I could watch 3 hours of YouTube videos on my laptop. That doesn't count. Or I could read, like that doesn't count either. For some reason, just like watching television during the day makes me feel like I'm being lazy and like somehow sinful.
Yeah, this is some American capitalism that was
totally
really worked into your brain. I had to go through so much therapy to get away from the feeling of like being quote unquote not productive all the time. And my therapist was like, that's a gross feeling. You shouldn't feel like you should be able to just be a human being.
I'm listening to this good audiobook called How to Do Nothing, which is like basically about that. It's a book about how it's radical and anti-capitalist to just like spend your time how you like, like you don't even have to be ambitious. You don't have to have nothing. Like just your life is all you have, and spend it doing whatever you like. Period. That's it.
It's like, it sounds simple, but like it is a revolutionary concept, and it's hard to do. Yeah. I mean, one of the 10 commandments is sloth. Like, yeah.
For sure.
They've been baking this into our heads for a while. I've also seen a lot of discourse lately because surprise, 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 the trans community is under attack once again. Yeah. And there's been a lot of discussion and really positive light about how like you don't need to be like the model like for the community. You do not need to be like doing every single thing by the sheer fact that you exist and that you are alive. Yeah. That is a revolutionary concept, and that is pissing off your enemies, and that is like enough. It is still great and awesome to go off and make art and help others and be an activist and,
Absolutely.
make the world a better place. But merely by existing as yourself as a trans or queer individual, especially in 2023 America as a trans individual, is a lot.
Absolutely.
And I love that concept. And so whenever I'm just strolling down Glendale, picking up a burrito from Chipotle to go back home to watch a movie midday, I'm like, I'm an activist and a revolutionary. They will build sculptures in my honor.
Yeah. I think that's absolutely true. I mean, I think any activism that a trans person takes part in is amazing. Courage is a virtue, a real virtue. But just being alive is courage,
That's the thing. The amount of suicide within the trans community solely based from external pressures of, the society that we live in that wants us dead fucking sucks. So living is just living is an act of defiance in the best possible way. And I love that.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been watching anything cool or?
I went to see a new movie recently, which is, strange of me to do.
Mm-hmm. And
I want to get the title right because it seems like it's really weird to pronounce. SCREIVI? Is that it's spelled SCREAIVI? Did you see this movie, SCREIVI?
Icelandic movie.
Yeah.
What did you think of Scream 6?
Yes, I went to see Scream 6. So I will mention this with the caveat that I went with a friend of mine who has not seen a Scream movie since Scream 2 in 1998.
Okay. Yeah.
And when we were making plans, I was like, you should probably watch at least Scream 5. You should watch 5 Cream beforehand because it's Jenna Ortega and it's going to be that connective narrative. You should at least watch that. And so I stopped by to pick her up before the movie and she was still finishing Scream 5. And so I got the last 20 minutes of Scream 5 again, which I hadn't seen since it was in theaters last year. And listen, I did not like Scream 5.
Right.
A lot. And I remember leaving the theater being very annoyed. And I haven't seen or thought about it since then. And it took a lot to even get me interested in Scream 6, especially after Neve Campbell was kind of pushed out of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Until I heard good word of mouth from people that I trust.
Mm-hmm. Such as moi.
Present company included. And so sitting with her and watching the final 10, 20 minutes of Scream 5 just made me be like, oh yeah, this movie does suck. Holy shit. Yikes. The dialogue is bad. The killer justification is stupid. On top of everything else. Ooh, this one is rough. God, I hope... all right, the bar is even higher. Scream 6 really has to deliver to, make me even want to sit through the whole movie. And then within the first 2 minutes of Scream 6, I was fucking sold.
Yeah, it's great.
It's really good.
Movie. Listen, I'm not a franchise person.
Me neither.
I'm not a commercial horror film person, to be honest. I like art movies, and I like trashy movies, and kind of nothing in between. So these sort of big popcorn tentpole horror franchise things, that's not my jam at all. I liked Scream 5 more than you. I thought it was fine. I think Scream as a franchise is probably the best franchise and the most consistent franchise.
I agree.
I mean, the worst Scream movie, which is Scream 3, is
that's wrong.
Better. I think that's the worst one.
I think that's underrated. I think the ending is stupid, but everything else is a blast.
There's lots of stuff about Scream 3 that is super fun. I like the movie. Mm-hmm. I think it's, for me, the worst Scream movie, but better than most Halloween movies, better than most Friday the 13th movies.
Oh, yeah. Scream 5, which is my least favorite, is better than almost any Halloween movie.
Yeah. So, the worst Scream movie is better than the mid and bad movies from any other franchise. So I thought Scream 5 was fine. I left thinking it was a 3-star movie. I did not have high expectations for this movie, and it just blew me away. I mean...
Yeah.
the kids are so good. Their dynamic is so strong. And that was my criticism of Scream 5 is like, we're spending half the movie with these kids and I don't know who they are, like the whole movie, because you're getting so much screen time with the legacy characters that you don't kind of have room to care about these kids, and the movie wants you to care about them. So by having Sid out of the way in Scream 6, and more or less having Gail out of the way, except for a large cameo, you're with the kids full time, and their performances are so good. Their chemistry is so good. The writing is so sharp. It's really fun.
It is really fun. It is also like, it takes advantage of the New York City setting in a really good way. There's a handful of really, really exciting, really, really tense and memorable set pieces. It also has what I think is maybe the cruelest death in any Scream movie, which is just like really protracted and really like emotional, and really upsetting in a good way. Really fun twists from the jump. And like you were saying, like, you care about this new quote-unquote core 4 more than you did in Scream 5, and kind of more than I've cared about main characters in Scream movies since Scream 2.
I love the first 2 Scream movies. I mean, this is the best one. After I could happily watch 1, 2, and 6 all the time.
Yeah,
like, as
those are
movies.
Those are the top 3 now.
Yeah.
But I also love how, like, when we do get legacy characters in this, we do get Gale, but whenever Gale shows up, it's as an annoyance. Like, everyone's like, go away, Gale, we don't want you here. And the audience is like, yeah, give us Jenna.
I loved Gale in this, but I'm ready to hand this off to a new group of characters.
Same. And and I'm okay with that. And even, like, Hayden Panettiere, who, like, not only has she not been in the franchise since 2011.
She hasn't been in anything.
She's been in anything.
She unfortunately has some substance abuse and mental health issues that make her really difficult to insure for productions, and she had to have like a sober buddy through this. But she's great in it. She's very good in it. She's really great. It was nice to see her.
There's a scene, because she kind of took over the Jimmy Kennedy role in Scream 4, which Jasmine Savoy Brown also inherited in Scream 5. Yeah. So when they finally get to have a little scene together, it's one of the cutest moments in any movie. I loved it, so fucking much.
Mindy correctly identifies the best Friday the 13th, which is part 2, which I gave a shot to.
I love Mindy so much. I'm so protective of Mindy.
Love her. Love her in Yellow Jackets. Love her in this. What a great actress. Mason Gooding is as hot as anyone has ever been. I love this movie. The line that made me scream right up front was when Ghostface says, "Who the fuck cares about movies?" I was like, that's the best fucking line in a Scream movie I've ever heard. Because you know that there are huge swaths of people that aren't like us that watch a Scream movie and are like, who the fuck cares about these movies this much?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like giving a voice to that audience in a way that is so delightful and funny.
I also just love that, like, there's so many nods to the kind of sleazier movies that we love. There's like, very on the nose nods to Dario Argento, a character who is very much not a good person, is shown wearing a Four Flies on Grey Velvet t-shirt in the original Italian title, and I'm like, what a douche!
Well, it's so appropriate, too, because this movie is a giallo. Really?
Well,
I think it is.
It's still a slasher, but it does like the giallo more than
any other Scream movie.
Yes, very much so.
The setting, the look.
I feel like it's closer to like the Brian De Palma films of the 80s. Than like a giallo film of the like 60s or 70s. But like we even get a subway sequence, which De Palma puts in like every single one of his movies. There's a subway sequence in Blowout. There's a subway sequence in Dressed to Kill. That fucker loves those things, and we get a very, very good one in this.
as a New Yorker, this in no way feels like New York City, but that's actually fine. I mean, because it's referencing old movies so much, like Scream does, none of those old movies are filmed in New York either. So, for instance, a lot of what happens in a lot of 80s movies, a character will get chased down an alleyway that goes to a dead end. Like, that happens here. There's no alleyways in Manhattan. There's literally only one alley in Manhattan. So it's like, did any of these filmmakers in the 80s ever visit New York City? Like, but I think it kind of weirdly adds to the fun of this a little bit. It makes it feel more like an old movie.
When we went to see it, it was a very, very small crowd and everyone was kind of like having fun with it. And we were joking throughout the movie, that it was giving big, that this was like playing in the same world as like a lot of those like TV cop procedurals.
Yeah.
And like this has such a higher body count and such like less like cohesive narrative than like an episode of Castle or something like that. So we were just kept trying to be like, yeah, how would like the CSI or like Castle teams deal with this shit? This is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think my favorite sequence in the whole movie, and it happens so very, very suddenly. There's a scene in a bodega that is fucking
scary,
banging. It reminds me a lot of the opening of Menace to Society.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
And it's brutal. Because you know, Ghostface is always like lurking around in suburban homes, like at night, and with like, you know, a lot of empty space and one person to chase up some stairs. So like sticking him in a bodega with like 7 other people and like an owner with a shotgun is a very different dynamic. But I loved it. I had so much fun.
Trailer came out, people were really upset by that, by Ghostface having a gun for some reason. And I was like, there's been guns in every single Scream movie. I don't know what the problem is. And then I saw someone, like a kind of big horror account on Twitter, was like, it's very traumatizing because it reminds me of mass shootings. And I was like, what are we doing here? Like, this is a horror movie. I don't know. It just felt like such a weird, sanctimonious tweet about Ghostface.
But it's also, I mean, as we got into on our episode on Targets recently, like, that's modern horror. That's like, that's the scariest thing in the world. That has been happening for 50 plus years.
Look, you don't get to live in a country with a mass shooting every week and then be like, that shouldn't be in movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not an okay argument.
We should be critiquing these things. We should be like... Yeah. Again, like, absolutely. This gets at and kind of fucks over the NRA's big thing of like, all you need to stop an assailant is a good person with a gun.
Right.
Nope. No?
Which has always been bullshit, because there are statistics for all of these things, right? And like, we know, like, by far, if you are going to die by gun violence, you are likely to die by your own gun. You know, like, whether that be someone has broken into your house and finds it, a kid finds it, you know, like, statistically, you're just much more likely, if you're going to die by a gun, that it is your gun.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Yeah. Anyway, Scream 6 is a hoot.
Delight.
A holler.
Love it.
Super fun. It gets very illogical at some points. Not in terms of its, like, killer, like, narrative and plotting. I saw some people online being like, what? And I'm like, that's obvious. And it's like actually surprisingly well plotted for like a Scream killer. So I'm fine with that. But it's a lot of other things in the movie that you're like, that person got stabbed how many times? Okay, I'm fine with this. I am okay with this. I'm allowing these things.
I thought of that during the movie too, and especially during the Gale Weathers scene. And I was like, if she were wearing a sports bra in this scene, you would see that Gale Weathers' torso is nothing but scar tissue. Like, how many times has this woman been stabbed in the torso over the past 20 years?
There's
but yeah, the kids too. Like,
near the end of the movie, in the big climax, where someone gets stabbed in the back. And then they still have 20 more minutes of fighting off killers and like dangling from stuff, and I'm like, no. No. You would be down.
There was some like emotional stuff that I didn't quite buy. Like, first of all, that all of these people would have moved to New York City together as a collective. I was like, I don't really buy that, but who cares? And then also, like, the girls have like this really tumultuous relationship with Gail Weathers all of a sudden, where I was like, I don't really buy this. But again, who cares? I mean, it's like, it's Scream 6. Like, I just let those criticisms go. You know?
Well, the rationale they give for the tumultuous relationship with Gail Weathers is actually something I loved, because at the end, again, it paid off in dividends to rewatch a movie. The last 10 minutes of a movie I don't like right before this, because at her final line at the end of Scream 5, Courtney Cox is like, I'm not going to write about these fuckers. I'm going to let them die in anonymity, and I'm going to write a book about a simple cop who led a good life. And Neve Campbell's like, that's a good idea. Write about Dewey. Shit. And then as soon as she shows up in Scream 6, they're like, fuck you, Gail, you didn't do the one thing you said you were going to do. And she was like, sorry, gotta make a buck.
I did appreciate Gail Weathers being like, Sid sends her love. She's taking Mark and the kids to a safe place or whatever. It's like,
she deserves her happy ending. Yeah.
I heard from a friend who knows everybody in the Scream world that as soon as this movie did well, Neve Campbell dropped her rate like significantly for the next Scream movie, which I don't know if I don't think she should be in another Scream movie. I love her to death, but I think we're ready to move on.
Yeah, I'm okay with her not being in it. Especially because, like, Sidney Prescott just living is great.
Yeah.
I don't want her to die. Whenever they bring someone like that back, the likelihood of them dying, like we saw in Scream 5, is annoying. Let these fuckers live.
She's earned it.
She's earned it. I do like that it feels like they are amping up to Scream 7 and that this is going to be like a trilogy of these characters. I like that a lot. And I still like what they're doing with Billy Loomis. It's super stupid.
Yeah, it's
I
dumb.
enjoy it
I kind of like
so
it too,
much.
It's goofy. It's for sure
super goofy. And it was one of my favorite elements of Scream 5.
It's camp.
It's high camp, and I love the way that it's played in this one even more, because they're just pushing it even further. And between that and now an actual in-universe character vocalizing that they don't think Stu Macher is dead, I am very hype for Scream 7, and bring Matthew Lillard back.
Ooh, I would love that.
'Cause, like, Matthew Lillard comes back, and the Billy Loomis looming figure, the looming Loomis, gets even more pronounced, and she's enjoying murdering and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Could be a great flick. I also really quickly just want to say that the first, I want to say like half hour or 45 minutes of this all take place in one night.
Yeah.
We get a kill, another kill, like a pre-Halloween party, and then our bodega chase. And I started to get into the headspace that this whole movie was going to be in one night like that. Honestly, I wish it was.
That would have been cool.
That would have been incredible. Like, Scream by way of After Hours. Like,
yeah. I love that idea.
Just one Ghostface, or like multiple Ghostface or whatever, chasing our characters through New York City, and they can't stop anywhere because they're constantly... That would have been so good. Would have been hard to achieve. I get it.
Yes.
But totally. That would have been such a good fucking movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway.
Well, shall we talk about the movie of the day?
Please.
This is a movie that Drusilla picked. It is from 2016, directed by Joel Patrikas, The Alchemist Cookbook.
Oscilloscope Laboratories and the filmmakers who brought you Buzzard present 3 easy steps to vanquish your enemies, crack the secrets of nature, and attain wealth. Step 1. Find isolation.
I was going to be all rich, buy us a big mansion out in the woods. No one would even know we were here.
Step 2. Abuse science.
Just walking around my mansion in the woods in my robe.
Step 3, keep your fucking head. Quickly defies genre, a unique vision of one of the most intriguing young auteurs in American independence.
Now, why did you pick this movie?
Because no one fucking talks about the Alchemist Cookbook. It is one of my favorite contemporary horror films. Full stop. Joel is an incredible Midwestern independent filmmaker that I had the
and we should say
of
you
meeting.
know him, right?
Yeah. Me when I was in college, when he was kind of taking his first few films around the Chicago Film Festival. And he and I have stayed in correspondence since then. And he is just an incredible film professor in Michigan, along with an incredible independent filmmaker, very much in the spirit of Sam Raimi, if Sam Raimi had stayed in Michigan. And this is his only like outright horror film. His other films like Buzzard and Relaxer are more like kind of offbeat comedy thrillers-ish, art films-ish. They're very, very quirky independent films. And they're absolutely incredible. Highly, highly, highly recommended. But Alchemist Cookbook is a really kind of special one that doesn't get... I know Relaxer, his latest feature, got a lot of talk and got a lot of attention. And I believe that and a few other of his films were on the Criterion Channel in the past year or so. And so I think there's been a bit more of discovery of his work that way. But all of his films have been released by Oscilloscope, and they're all readily available, and they're all great. And if you want a look into what contemporary, independent, American film looks like, not like if you want to avoid the coastal elites in Hollywood, New York City, this is what's going on in the country, and Joel's movies are incredible. So I had seen Buzzard, which is his 2014 feature at the Chicago Film Festival when I was in college, and fucking loved it. And kind of like stayed in contact with Joel and was following his career. And so when the Alchemist Cookbook was announced, I was already sold and very excited. But then it was released in a really, really interesting manner that because Oscilloscope is very dope and cool. I mean, they were founded by Adam Yauch from the Beastie Boys. Yeah. May he rest in peace.
R.I.P.
And Joel is a very punk rock kind of dude, and sees art and film in a very different way than corporations do. The Alchemist Cookbook being such like, it's two actors shot in the woods in Michigan and a cat. They released it on BitTorrent as pay what you want, sort of like Bandcamp does for musicians and albums. And I think Radiohead did a whole album released that way. And so it was released that way in 2016 and played at some theaters in New York.
I think South by Southwest, it said.
Yes. It also played at festivals to good acclaim. I unfortunately didn't get to see it in theaters. I had to see it through the pay what you want BitTorrent method, since I was living in Los Angeles at the time. But I did pay money for it. I fucking adore it. I haven't watched it since 2016, but I watched it a few times when it came out until now. But yeah, unfortunately, that pay what you want model hasn't been repeated because didn't really pan out for this
Yeah,
movie.
I imagine it doesn't earn any money.
Yeah, they didn't. I don't think it's been disclosed how much money this movie made, but it's.
I couldn't find it anywhere. I couldn't find the budget either, for that matter. I can't imagine that it was high. It definitely it has a homemade feel, and I don't mean that in a pejorative way. It's one of those movies that you watch and it makes you feel like, God, I just want to get a camera and go to the woods and make a movie with my friends. Yeah, it's very much speaking to Evil Dead, I think. Kind of reminded me of Pink Flamingos in a weird way.
I was going to say,
because of the
just a trailer in the woods.
Yeah, it looks like Pink Flamingos to me. Synopsis-wise, this movie is kind of what it sounds like. There's a young man named Sean who seems to be mentally ill. He's been living in a trailer in the woods by himself with a cat for who knows how long, and he has in his possession an ancient Alchemist's Cookbook. So he's been doing alchemy in an attempt to speak with some sort of demon or dark presence in the woods, and the only person he ever sees is a relative named Cortez, who brings him like groceries and supplies and stuff like that. And so gradually he's just losing his goddamn mind in the woods as he does alchemy, trying to talk to a demon, and that's it, basically. It's really good at, it's sort of, it's coded as like a meth lab, basically. Except that it's alchemy. So it's like a cool idea to use that meth, like sort of Breaking Bad aesthetic and bring it to the occult instead. That was a super interesting concept.
Yeah, it does not sound like it, but it's a super, super fun movie.
Very funny.
Very, very funny. Joel's movies are always tinged with a really, really strong through line of dark comedy. Very like, I don't know, I feel like Mike Judge is maybe a good reference point for the like type of humor. It's very dry,
like
but it's very
mumblecore
dark.
movies.
Yeah, he comes from kind of the same era of like, we're gonna get a camera, we're gonna get some weirdos that we know that can act, and we're gonna like let them go nuts for a while, and then we're gonna cut it together. There's no score to his movies either. Just across the board.
Some great needle drops, though.
But great needle drops by local Michigan rappers and punk bands, and then also like opera and Mozart and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When I first met Joel at the Chicago Film Festival, he did like luncheon a few days later that was like sponsored by my college. And so like it was a bunch of different directors from the festival. And I was just I had talked with Joel before, and we were like, no one wanted to talk to him because no one knew who he was, and everyone else there was like, at least marginally bigger or like an international director that everyone was like fawning over. And Joel was alone in the corner, and I was just talking with him about like, because I had seen Buzzard, and we were just talking about that and fucking Sam Raimi and being from Michigan and Indiana and stuff like that. And a like music student came up who had been going to every single person, handing out her business card to people, being like, I'm a music student, and I'm a composer, and I want to compose music for your movies. And he took her card and, like, handed it right back to her and laughed and was like, I don't use score by. And she was, like, really befuddled and was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? You have to have music. He's like, yeah, I do. I use, like, songs and punk music. Yeah. Leave me alone. I adore him for that so much, and the music sets so much of the tone and the energy in this movie, and also does such a good job of getting you in Sean's headspace, because like it's a pretty eclectic mix of music and energies.
Yeah, it is
because you kind of like open on some like thrashy metal punk kind of stuff and rap, and then he quickly changes out his cassettes and his like boombox to like Mozart and opera, but he's still like banging away to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of music by the Smoking Popes in this, which I know because they had a song on the Clueless soundtrack, which I grew up loving.
I love the Smoking Popes.
Yeah, they're cool. Do you know if how heavily this movie was scripted or not?
From my understanding, Joel scripts things pretty tightly. I mean,
so
he
allows
like
improv or anything.
He allows improv during the shoot, but everything is pretty planned out beforehand. I mean, there's a lot of fun little like bits of improv. They're more in terms of like mannerisms and actions than say dialogue. I feel like the majority of the dialogue is scripted. But there's, I mean, bits where like Sean's out in the woods setting up traps for animals or working on his stuff, and it breaks and he has to like reset the logs, and it takes him like 5 minutes to get this weird contraption working, and that stuff just feels like, yeah, they just let the camera roll.
Yeah.
They let him fuck up because this character's gonna fuck up. And that's, the movie feels both, you know, scrappy, made with your friends for $2 in a bag of McDonald's, as much as it also feels like really lived in and almost like a Grey Gardens-esque documentary about this fucking guy.
Yeah, and it's well made, right? It's well crafted. Yes. It feels homemade, but well crafted. It's similar to like Hellbender, I would say, in that regard. Like, it feels homemade in a good way. You also don't know. It's one of those movies where you have kind of an unreliable narrator, so you don't know if what Sean is experiencing is real or not, because he's mentally ill and he's been in this trailer for God knows how long. So the whole thing could be like in his imagination, which I read was Joel's intention. Very
much so. I mean, it falls in line with, you know, like we discussed a lot of those great 70s kind of gaslight movies that deal with the demonic possession that came like post Exorcist, Rosemary's Baby, that like to have their cake and eat it too, with satanic rituals and cults, like all the Colors of the Dark and things like that, that like want to like provoke audiences that are excited by this idea of demonic stuff and all the metaphoric and, you know, pagan Christian values that brings to a narrative, while also like grounding it as much as possible in everyday real life. And it's really interesting because the rest of Joel's movies are very grounded, with occasional flights of weirdness. He's a big Buñuel fan. He's a big fan of surrealism.
Gotcha.
And so he does a really good job of what I feel like a lot of good horror literature does, but a lot of adaptations of horror fail to do, which is grounding things really, really, really... Like, this is the problem with Stephen King adaptations. A Stephen King book, much like Alchemist Cookbook or a lot of Joel's movies, is, like, really rooted in the world and the characters, and you live with them for quite a while before things start getting fucked up. And it makes those things hit even harder. So for quite a while, I mean, Alchemist Cookbook really just feels like a drama or like a dark comedy about a guy just losing his mind in the woods. And he's got this book and he's playing with beakers and test tubes, and car batteries and acids and shit. And you're like, cool, he's going to just blow himself up or die or whatever. And the more it goes on and the more like bumps and creaks and glowing eyes and like dead bodies and shit that start to build up, the more the lines get blurred, and that's where the like actual alchemy of the movie takes place, like as a film and on the audience. That is the beauty and power of this movie for me. It's
still a pretty grounded. I mean, if you compare it to a more traditional horror film, even Evil Dead, what its direct comparison is, I mean, there's not anything that's, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street, Evil Dead-ish about this, where people are becoming zombies and, you know, killing each other, and there's just this guy in the woods. So it's grounded in the sense that, like, it could all be in his imagination, you know? There is one other character, it doesn't say if it's like his brother or cousin. It does say that they're blood. Cortez, who is so good in this movie. What a good performance. I mean, they're both great, but
Amari
Cortez has kind of
Cheatham is really, really, really good as Cortez. He was in Judas and the Black Messiah.
I haven't seen that.
He was in Django Unchained.
I love Django Unchained when I saw it.
He's very, very, very good.
He's so funny. I mean, he has the more comedic performance, I would say. And yeah, he's great. I love the scene where he brings cat food for for Sean's cat, but it's the wrong brand, and Sean is really like upset about it. And he's like, "No, this is like a luxury. This is tuna. Like this is delicious. The cat will love it." And he's like, "If you want it, if you think it's so good, why don't you eat it?" And so he does, but he is like forcing himself to eat it, and it's obviously really gross. And I don't know what it is. I think it's so funny when somebody is trying to eat something that is gross and they're trying not to throw up. And it reminds me of like Bridesmaids when she has food poisoning, is trying to eat the Jordan almond and there's like sweat pouring down her brow. It's like that. It's so good.
Joel has a big through line of like gross out food things in his movies. I mean, Relaxer famously has an abundance of milk in a way that is upsetting, to say the least. And there's a really, really, really famous and incredible scene in Buzzard with spaghetti that rivals like Killing of a Sacred Deer and Gummo. That's just like like, and it was very much an improv. It was very much on the day. Like, he checks himself into a hotel at one point and is like ordering food service, and so they actually checked into a hotel and were actually ordering food service. And they're like, "Well, if you had a bunch of money for the first time, what would you order?" And he's like, "I don't know, plate spaghetti." And so they just like get a massive plate of spaghetti. He just eats it on camera like the entire time, and it's so goddamn funny. But the tuna in this, I mean, a lot of the other thing that Alchemist Cookbook reminds me of, it feels like the Evil Dead cross with like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm. Sure, yeah.
Because Ty Hickson as Sean has really big like Charlie Day energy.
Yeah, he does.
It's him alone with a cat, only eating the grossest like processed like foods and stuff like that. He's always got like Gatorade bottles and like just gnarly ass like they clearly just went to Walmart and grabbed whatever. Like, he's just constantly eating processed stuff, which is, again,
Doritos,
outrageously Midwestern. Like,
it feels like all the scenes in Sunny where it's just like Charlie and Danny DeVito alone in their apartment, and they're both wearing like long underwear, and their apartment is disgusting, and they're like playing these weird games and stuff. It feels like that. It does feel like that.
I'm sure there's a toe knife somewhere in this trailer. Yeah, it's very, very fun, and like just right on the level of gross, and right on the... Honestly, the grossest scene for me is there's a scene in the bathroom later on in the film where he has been summoning the demon Belial in making penance to Belial, and he offers up his teeth.
Ugh. Pulls them out with pliers.
Full-on Jeff Goldblum in The Fly. Yeah. Really upsetting. Really, really hard to watch, and they just sit you there with it.
This also reminded me of the Tracy Letts play Bug, which had a film adaptation with Ashley Judd, I don't know, 15 years ago? Maybe?
I'm aware of the film, but I haven't seen the play or the film.
It started as a play, which I saw in France, which was really weird to watch a play in French, a language I do not speak. But then I saw the movie too. And it is about two meth addicts who are holed up in a cheap motel room and basically losing their minds, and they believe that bugs are coming for them, you know, because they're high on meth, and it's really icky and gross. And in the play, it's really cool because it has 2 acts. And so if I remember correctly, you go away for intermission and you come back and the characters have covered the entire motel room in aluminum foil because they feel like that'll keep out the bugs or whatever. So it has a very similar kind of aesthetic and tone as this movie.
There's a lot of that in this too. I mean, there's a lot of like, he's actually doing a lot of the kind of beakers and test tubes kind of stuff. He's actually like sawing open batteries. Like,
yes, it feels like he's making meth. His behavior suggests that he's on meth for a lot of the movie. So it's doing that without doing that, which is really interesting.
There's also a lot of suggestion and inference towards mental illness in this movie. It's more or less suggested by Cortez that like Sean abandoned his life, fled 3 hours away from Detroit into the woods in upstate Michigan, And no one, like, they don't know if he's running from something or what the fuck happened to him. But there's very clearly evidence of a trauma in the past that is connected to a pre-existing mental illness that is, like, exacerbating the level of paranoia that the movie builds and builds and builds with. But there's definitely either some kind of BPD or schizophrenia.
Schizophrenia was my thought. I mean, he's on medicines that he runs out of midway through the movie, and Cortez doesn't bring for him. So, yeah, he's literally out of meds.
Yeah. Cortez returns later in the film on the run from something, which we know nothing about, and tries to hole up with him in the trailer. And when Sean doesn't let him and threatens him, bad things happen.
Yeah. Cortez disappears into the woods. It's very Blair Witch.
We find his teeth embedded in a fucking tree.
Yeah. It's very Blair Witch, actually. I just said that on the fly, but that's true. And then he comes back later at a bonfire, and it's actually a pretty scary scene when he comes back. His performance is very good.
He does such a good job. Both of them do such a good job of, like, grounding these characters and living in them, even in the most otherworldly scenes, like Cortez's final return. It's really downplayed and really haunting. And the, like, really subtle special effects they use are incredible. And you can read it both as demonic possession, a ghostly return, or just, like, guilt manifestation.
Yeah.
I mean, whether Cortez was killed by whatever he was running from, or by whatever demon that Sean is summoning, at the end of the day, like, there's going to be guilt there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
a great example of independent filmmaking as well as regional horror, which we barely get anymore. You know, as the world gets more global or whatever, it's harder to find, like, a real regional film that gets any attention. So I really appreciated that about it.
It's also, I mean, as someone who grew up making independent short films in the Midwest, it is so much easier, and this is something that Joel says all the fucking time, it's so much easier to make independent film in the Midwest. It's cheaper to live, period. I mean, granted, it fucking sucks, especially for someone of my persuasion. And it's, you know, some of these states I'm not allowed in right now. But, like, it's cheaper to live. It's cheaper to physically make these things because, unlike Los Angeles and New York, you know, people are more excited to allow you to film places and rather than charging you, like, day rates,
$10,000 a day or whatever
to shoot in a hallway of an apartment building, or something like that. And on top of that, there's so much undiscovered talent in these areas that don't get to work. And again, this is, you know, an independent film made in Michigan, starring exclusively two men of color. Like, that is something that we do not nearly see enough of, like, period. And it is such a great example of what you can do with good talent, good ideas, and no resources.
Well, part of why I asked you if he scripted this was because both actors are black and they're, like, throwing around the N-word a lot. And I was like, oh my God, did he write this for them? Which is fine. I have no judgment if he did. I just felt like, I don't think I would do that.
I don't think those parts were scripted. I think he allowed them to add inflections as need be. But I don't know. We'll have to ask Joel that someday.
Yeah. Fine by me either way. I have no judgment. I'm not sanctimonious about this. I was just curious about it. That's all.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a really inspiring movie. It does, for me, the same thing that, you know, watching The Evil Dead did for me, or watching Shallow Grave or Following or any of those, like, great 90s independent movies that, you know, I remember there was so much talk after Blair Witch and, like, El Mariachi and Clerks of, like, all you need is $30,000 and a good script. Go at it. But like, first of all, it's not $30,000 anymore, especially to shoot on film.
Yeah.
But on top of that, like, inflation has changed so much. The economic state of contemporary America has changed so much.
And the market for these has changed as well. I mean, it's harder to turn a profit with an independent film.
It's almost impossible. There's so many more avenues for independent films to be seen, but there's so fewer for independent filmmakers to make money.
Yeah.
Joel's only made one other feature since The Alchemist Cookbook. And, you know, since then he's been working as a film professor in Michigan. He has a wife and he has a child. Like,
yeah,
he has a life. He needs to be paying for this stuff. I remember a few years ago when James Gray, the director of Ad Astra and Armageddon Time, after his film The Lost City of Z with Robert Pattinson came out, wrote a big
I never
long...
saw that. I loved that book. I should see that.
I should see the movie too. He wrote a long op-ed basically about being like, I've directed like all these big movies that you've seen. I can't afford my mortgage.
God.
And you know, hopefully making Ad Astra and Armageddon Time helped, you know, a little bit since then. But like, yeah, it's tough. And so seeing a movie like Buzzard or like The Alchemist Cookbook that is truly made with a voice and intention and no goddamn money, because we all have a fucking iPhone in our pockets that can shoot whatever. We all
shoots 4K.
It shoots 4K. That's insane to me.
Yeah.
We all have the means. It's just getting the ideas down, getting the people together, and making the goddamn thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, understanding that the system is broken and
Yeah.
there's not money
Disney
there,
nuts.
but just because there's not money there doesn't mean you shouldn't fucking do the thing.
Absolutely.
We need to rebuild the system. And with all these superhero movies crashing and burning at the box office lately...
Ugh. Don't you love it? I am loving it.
So much Schadenfreude. I love it so much. Like, I think Shazam only just came out, but even before that, people have been like, it's already, people on like big late night talk shows have been joking about how like phony people are about saying that it's good and how it's terrible and that it's bombing.
Yeah.
And like, that's such a huge death nail between Ant-Man and Shazam and Black Adam and like, it's all going down the tubes.
I always think of the advice that Leonardo DiCaprio gave Timothée Chalamet, which was no hard drugs, no superhero movies. Look
He's
at
right.
Timothy's career. He's like our movie star. He's our young movie star.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he
Anyway.
He still had a big tentpole in Dune, but that's a different thing entirely.
That's a different thing. Dune's great. I love Dune. Book adaptations. No.
Book
it's not
adaptations.
Pretty, but I like a book adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's play Have They Seen It, the game where we speculate wildly whether notable figures have seen the movie or not. Listen, we've mentioned him like 50 times. Do you think Sam Raimi ever saw this?
God damn it, I really hope he has. I'm sure he probably hasn't, but like, if there's one movie that I would sit Sam Raimi down and show him, it would be fucking this. I know Joel is such a massive fan of Sam's.
Yeah.
That it would please me so much just to have even slight confirmation that Raimi has seen this. And I feel like he'd fucking adore this movie.
I think he'd like it too.
He would like it
Tangent
so
really
much.
quick. What do you think of the Evil Dead Rise trailer? Have you seen that?
I did see it. I'm excited. I did not see the Evil Dead, the remake one. I've heard it's very good. I've heard it's very, very gory. I'm excited to see it in advance of Evil Dead Rise. I'm gonna see Evil Dead Rise in theaters. I wasn't fully sold on Evil Dead Rise. I mean, I was gonna see it anyway, but I wasn't sold that it was going to be very, very good or great. But what the correspondence we've been getting out of South by Southwest has me very excited.
Good. Okay.
I also
Just
know
curious.
that Bruce Campbell attended the Southwest premiere, and afterwards in a Q&A said that he would return to an Evil Dead film if Sam directed.
Ooh, that's good to know.
Since Sam Raimi's already listening to this episode, as we well know, after you finish your watch of Alchemist Cookbook, you better call up Brucey and start on a script, my guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, or since they've been making these new Evil Dead movies, like, let Joel Patrikas direct an Evil Dead movie.
Yeah, let Joel Patrikas make one.
Like, he only makes his movies in Michigan and makes them on small budgets, but let him have the IP. Let him, like, the last two Evil Dead movies haven't been connected. They've just been, like, in the universe of the Evil Dead. This new one's not going to be connected to the plot or characters of any other ones. So, like, just give him a budget and let him do it. It's going to be the best one. Like, it's going to be incredible. Let him do it. Let him do it. Let him do it. So I'm trying to think, in terms of contemporary witchcraft, because this movie deals a lot with demon summoning, and alchemy and witchcraft. And another movie that came out just a few years after that was focused on very, very similar ideas, and was also presenting them in a very grounded way. But rather than focusing on the demon Belial, they were focusing on King Payman, which, fun fact, are both the two quote-unquote demons that my pagan witch ex would summon in my house. So that's fun. Do you think that Ari Aster has seen The Alchemist Cookbook?
No, I don't.
I
don't
feel
think
like
Ari
most
Aster
of them are going to be no's, but
yeah, I think so too. It's a small movie, but I have one that might be a yes next. But Ari Aster, I feel like probably doesn't even watch horror movies.
No,
and I like Ari Aster a lot. I defend Ari Aster. I like both of his movies very much. I just feel like he's a little too pretentious to actually watch most horror movies.
Agreed.
Like I think he'll go watch like The Lighthouse or something like that, but I don't think he's watching anything else. Yeah.
I feel like if you walked into Ari Aster's house and you saw the shelf where he keeps his home video, because he's definitely going to have a lot of movies, I feel like you're going to find more like Ingmar Bergman and Pier Paolo Pasolini than you're going to find Dario Argento or Mario Bava.
Also, the trailer for the next Ari Aster film looks very weird. It's got a aesthetic that's a bit passe. I was like, what is the 2010s chuggy energy of this trailer? It looks like a old Charlie Kaufman movie, but not in a good way.
I was gonna say it's giving really big Synecdoche, New York. And the posters are really bad. They're really bad. I
can't remember what it's called.
Beau is Afraid.
Beau is Afraid. Not a good title either.
Not a good sign that you don't... Beau is Afraid wasn't the original title. I think the original title was Disappointment Boulevard.
That's a much better title.
Yeah, but A24 didn't want to release a movie with disappointment in the title.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway.
Too easy for critics.
I still have faith. I love Ari Aster's movies so far, so I will definitely watch it, and hopefully it surprises me. I have somebody. So maybe this isn't true. Oscilloscope, who released this movie, is that not... Is Elijah Wood one of the people that runs that?
He does not.
Oh, okay.
Elijah Wood is connected with Spectravision, who produced Mandy.
Yes. I always get them combined. So, you know him, you love him. He was in Lord of the Rings. You'll always see him at the Whole Foods in Silver Lake.
I just saw him the other day in Highland Park.
Do you think Elijah Wood saw this?
Yeah, man. I think Elijah Wood loves this movie.
Me too.
I feel like Elijah Wood has the poster in his house.
He's cool. And I feel like he sees everything.
Yes. I should also mention that the poster for the Alchemist Cookbook is incredible. And it was designed by a friend of mine, Juan Miguel Marin, aka La Boutique, who does a lot of artwork for the Criterion Collection, and David Byrne. He is incredible. Anyway, it's a banger of a poster. It's a handmade collage. It's exactly what this movie deserves. So there is a big punk rock spirit and energy to Joel's movies, but specifically a lot of use of punk in this movie as well. And there's a bigger punk icon who is known for both punk and horror and has since become an independent horror filmmaker in his own right. Do you think Glenn Danzig has seen The Alchemist Cookbook?
Yeah. My gut said yes for some reason immediately. Yeah, I don't know why. I think yes. What do you think?
I feel like he would. I feel like, if he came across... I feel like, because this was on Shudder for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Danzig just has, like, Shudder on a loop. Because you know how Shudder has, like, the Shudder TV live option? I feel like he has at least one TV in his house that is constantly on with that.
Yeah.
And I feel like he also woke up at 4 a.m. one morning and watched this very hungover and was like, yeah.
I have a bone to pick with Shudder for that because I feel like it's changed. Because didn't it used to be they had a schedule and when you turned it on, it could be like mid-movie or whatever. So
yes.
So it was more like watching TV. They've changed it. So now it starts at the beginning of a film when you turn it on. And I think that's a bummer.
I think that's a bummer too. It's also when you open up the Shudder app, it automatically goes to Shudder TV. And there's like multiple different channels of Shudder TV too. There's like different like iterations of it, which is cool. But I don't like that it opens straight to it. I wanted to open to the like landing page of your like title selections, and then that's an option. Because opening straight to it, like, I don't automatically want my TV blasting sound at me.
Yeah, Netflix does that too in a way that I really don't like, because it could take me 10 minutes or more to choose a movie, so I don't need to be hearing like Stranger Things while I try to find a movie to watch. It's like very loud and annoying.
I mean,
this is harder to pick.
This is very much me being a very persnickety person that's very much, ADHD, but I like to set a tone and a mood if I'm going to watch a movie. I typically like curate trailers beforehand to like get in the headspace. I have like colored lights in my house. I will set them on my phone to like set the mood of the room. It's like watching a movie is like prayer in church and alchemy to me. It's very important. Yeah. It's very special to me. I can just toss a movie on sometimes, but it's usually like an 80s, 90s comedy. But if I'm going to watch a horror movie, or if I'm going to watch an art house movie or something like that, I am putting thought and attention and focus into it.
Yeah.
And to just have like random other shit blaring at me bums me the fuck out, and it's why I'm buying more physical media, honestly. Like,
yeah.
Anyway.
Well, that's it for this episode of Bloodhouse. If you like this, please rate it wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can email us at bloodhousepod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter or Instagram, bloodhousepod. Drusilla, where can people find you?
Go find me on Letterboxd. I'm watching so many movies, and I'm leaving reviews that are really snarky and stupid. I'm trying my darndest. I also have a website. If you go to sisterhidedesign.com, you can see all of my latest artwork, including the latest cover for the Criterion Collection for Targets, 2 new posters for the upcoming Owen Wilson comedy Paint, a new campaign for the Amazon Donald Glover series Swarm, all designed in-house at Grandson Creative, along with the poster for the new Woody Harrelson movie Champions, illustrated by the great Phil Roberts. Tons of new work is up there. There's another new piece coming very, very soon that's super fucking exciting, and a lot of nerds are going to cream themselves over. So, that's all there. I'm also on Instagram at Hyde Sister, the inversion of my little Sister Hyde imprint. Josh, where in the world are you these days?
I am at Joshua Conkle on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. So, that only leaves one business item left. What are we watching next week?
Next week, we are taking Josh's suggestion. I got one piece of dark magic and evil. Now Josh is going to take us to a different realm of dark magic and evil as we command the spirits to don't deliver us from evil.
Ugh, I can't wait. Thank you.